Welcome to tonight's live stream. I'm about to get started in a minute with my special guest, Mr. Chris, who is here today. And we're going to be taking Steve Harvey to the barbecue once I get through with presenting the live stream on social media. So just hang on tight and get that coleslaw because we're getting ready to take Steve Harvey to the barbecue.
Yeah, it's gonna be so easy to barbecue this guy. Oh, hey TikTokers, what's going on? Welcome to the Chris and Sean barbecue. So I'm also doing a TikTok too. I'm doing a live TikTok while we're doing this. Oh, we on, Sean? Let me know.
What's going on, Cheating Rourke? Good to see you here.
Looks like we're waiting for people to come in before we get started, right?
Yeah, I'm just letting everybody know where the stream is on. So we got five in the room. And I'm just going to go out here and hold on.
Get the coleslaw, y'all, because we're having us a barbecue.
Yep. Well, now that I've let everybody know that the stream is on the air, Mr. Chris and I are getting ready for tonight's barbecue of America's favorite simp, Steve Harvey. Now, Steve Harvey it was reported that Steve Harvey was divorcing his wife, Marjorie. However, I didn't do any videos on that subject because nothing had really been substantiated on social media or mainstream media. And since nothing had been substantiated, I really didn't want to come out here and make a video on the subject. But when I look at Steve Harvey's overall record of doing people dirty and his just completely just unethical and unorthodox way of doing things, I mean, he's a textbook simp and he's a textbook mangina, like I talk about in my book, Manginas. So we got to take him to the barbecue as related to all of the stuff that he's done over the years. And I brought Mr. Chris along to help take Steve Harvey to the barbecue because Steve Harvey's whole approach to life is just one of the most unethical ones I've seen. I mean, this whole rumor as related to this divorce would have been him reaping what he sowed for all the people he did dirty. And Mr. Chris knows a little bit more about that than I do because he lived around in the same area as Steve Harvey. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about what Steve Harvey has done from what he knows.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Sean James' great YouTube broadcast. I want to say that I'm always humbled and grateful for you to allow me on these collaborations, man. It's really fun. Just wanted to get that. I just wanted to get that out the way. Look, now Steve Harvey he's much older than me, I guess by 10 years or so. And Steve Harvey is one of these guys that we call the cootie bop guys. And I was born in 1970. All right. And cootie bop guys were wannabe pimps, but they didn't have the balls to be pimps. But they talked like them, walked like them, dressed like them. And he was one of those type of guys that tried to be cooler than what he was to other guys so that women, so he could basically pick up on women. So he was what we call back in Cleveland a cootie bop dude. And yeah, man, so this is what's going on in the world. You see, he's that kind of guy. And so There was a lot of those kind of guys in the 70s and the 80s that had to overcompensate being cooler than what they truly are, because, well, even back then, even a high value man of the 70s and then of the 80s, they were getting the women that Steve Harvey couldn't. But, even though it was a different era.
He was basically what we call in the 80s, he was a perpetrator. He was a guy putting up a front, making it look like he was something that he wasn't. That's what it sounded like to me.
Oh, absolutely, big time. And so the thing with these guys is that guys like him are undercover simps.
Yeah.
They're undercover simps. Yeah, you got to treat a lady like this. Yeah, you got to treat a lady like that. There was a song back then from the Manhattans. They were R&B singing group, and they had a song called "Treat Her Like a Lady." And in those lyrics, it said something to the fact that if she spits on you or walks over you, still treat her like a lady. He's those guys. He's those guys that are super simps completely. And because of that, once he got the platform that he got, he knew where the money was. He knew the money, as far as staying relevant on television, was women, and mainly black women. Black women and poor white women watch more television than any other demographic. So cater to that. And he was just smart enough to do that. And so once he got his break, because here's the thing, what he did to his first wife was just an abominable. He left her while she was pregnant. And while he was struggling, once he made his money with the whole Kings of Comedy and the Steve Harvey show, once those two things came to fruition, he dumped everybody who was loyal to him from the soil.
Yeah, he did everybody.
Unfortunately, living in the Midwest, because I know a thing or two about it, it's cutthroat. It's dog eat dog. If you have an idea, if you have a plan, if you have something that you got going on that will take you to the next level, everybody's going to try to pull you down to get it. And that's what it's like in the Midwest. Cleveland, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, Milwaukee. I can go on. And so Steve Harvey was just smart enough to know that he had to get out of Cleveland if he wanted to make the moves that he was going to make. And he got there by luck. He rode the right coattails. He shook the right hands. He cooned for the right people. And then that's where he got his break. But there's no spectacular shit about him. Nothing. Not at all.
No, I would say he basically stole a lot from a whole bunch of other people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly what he did. And because of that, once again, that cutthroat mindset. He didn't have the balls to be the man until he kissed enough ass to get there. He had a falling out with Cedric the Entertainer. He also had a falling out with Bernie Mac, and let's face it, Bernie Mac was funnier than Steve Harvey, flat out. So much so, he resented the fact that Bernie Mac got to highlight I want to say main event. I'm thinking of wrestling right now, but he got to be the main guy in the Kings of Comedy, and Steve Harvey, he was planning and plotting and stabbing and stabbing him in the back. But that's what those type of losers are, and that's exactly what he did. what he is. So we're talking about a guy who's a walking, talking hypocrite in every sense of the way. Steve Harvey is nothing but a walking, talking hypocrite, flat out.
Yep, and he's a textbook simp, like I talk about in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. And when it comes to these guys, they love to just go out here and put up this facade like they're this nice guy, they're this good guy. But in actuality, this is the guy who will just go out here and stab you in the back and go out here and sell you out. And that's basically what Steve Harvey has done to basically everyone over the course of his career. I mean, he's done a lot of people really dirty over the last couple of years. And when I think about some of the stuff that he's done, he's out here talking like he was the good man out here. But there was nothing good about this dude at all. I mean, if he was cutthroat in Cleveland, then he thought he could possibly bring that game to Hollywood. But the more we saw about Steve Harvey, we saw he wasn't the good guy he was posting out here in the public.
Well, yeah. And that, he got a street named after him in Cleveland and all of that. Woo, big whoop. But for what? Because you told a couple of jokes. But that's once again, it's a celebrity starved city. And if you can get out that crabs in the barrel environment, you either stand on your own 2 feet, be your own man like I am, or you learn how to be a crab in another barrel. And see, that's what he did. He ended up being a crab in another barrel. Because, boy, wait till we get to talking about the whole scandal situation between him and Marjorie and all that other mess.
Yep. But he was a guy. He was in the Cleveland Shark Tank, and he was able to survive in the Hollywood Shark Tank. And he's just a predator who preys on people. That's another aspect of simps people don't know about. A lot of these simps, they are guys, they make it look like they're a victim, but they really go out here looking to prey on people. And what he did was look to go out here and prey on women by playing to the whole narrative of them not being able to get a man or have relationships, and made himself into a relationship expert. But how is he an expert? That's always been the critical question I've always wanted to ask. How are you an expert when you've had 3 marriages that ended in, 2 of them ending in divorce? And the truth is, you were the guy who did both of those women dirty.
How can you consider yourself a relationship expert and you're in 3 failed and currently this one marriages? And before anybody say, well, you don't know if they failed or not, I'm going to explain that in more detail as this broadcast goes along, Sean.
Yeah.
But Steve, how do you listen to a guy who's been in 3 failed relationships? Because regardless of what happens, his relationship is a failure, whether it's perception, whether it's reality. And why? Because of her reputation that preceded her, and the reputation of Steve that preceded his. That's the problem. And so why this guy has left every woman who was there in the struggle, who was there when nobody knew who Steve Harvey was, when nobody knew that Steve Harvey was a household name. As soon as he leveled up, he left them. That's a bad look.
Yeah. These women stood by this man when he was struggling. They had his back when he was struggling, looking to help him build himself up. And instead of him rewarding women who were looking to help meet his needs and be a good wife, what he did was go out here and drop those women. And then that's really makes him a hypocrite again, because he's the guy talking about he's the good man, he's the nice guy. In his cardboard book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. I mean, that book, when I read it, I had to shake my head at how ridiculous everything he put in that book was. I mean, here's this guy giving women advice that is guaranteed to make them fail as related to relationships with men, teaching them things that just aren't going to work. I mean, when you take a look at Steve Harvey's Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, if you've read that book like I have, and I read it to do my research for my Stop Simping book, I mean, everything in that book, if you follow that book, you're going to fail because this guy is talking about he's trying to teach women to think like a man, which is not possible because women are emotional and women are not designed to think like men. But he also sells it as, oh, I'm selling you about an inside look at men. But the whole thing is everything in that book is just absolutely ridiculous and absolutely wrong.
Oh, well, I mean, it's disrespectful on its face.
Yeah.
And I, like I said before, if I want a woman to think like a man, she's not going to be with me. She's not going to be with me on any level. There's a reason why women are women and men are men.
Yep.
There's a reason why a man and a woman make a baby, not a man and not a woman and a woman. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, y'all mad? Whatever. That's the you can't go against nature.
Nope.
And when you try to go against nature, it blows up in your face, Steve.
Yep.
And it sounded good. It was a nice marketing gimmick. It was a nice marketing setup where, you know what? That sounds good. Yeah, women should act like a lady and think like a man. And you do those two. If you act like a lady but you think like a man, you're going to end up lonely.
Yep. Because a man is not attracted to a woman who thinks like a man. A woman with masculine thinking is not somebody a heterosexual man is going to be attracted to.
No. Why? Why would I want to date a man? I don't. I want to date a woman mentally, physically, socially, and spiritually in every way. If I'm going to date a man, I might as well date myself.
Yep.
You understand the foolishness in that on its face?
Yeah, I do. It's ridiculous.
Right. It's ridiculous. And he's created guys like him, Dr. Umar. They give safe spaces for modern women who think that they can say what they want, do what they want without any consequences bestowed to them. All right. And then these guys end up losing.
Yep.
Still waiting for that school to be built, by the way, Doctor.
He got over $1 million and nothing. He has no results. And again, that's another sign of a man. When you look at a man has results after he finishes everything. He doesn't come out here and just say, "Oh, I got something," like Steve or Harvey or one of these simps do. They have actual tangible results that you can measure.
Right. Exactly. And let's look at the real guys who've been married for a long time, like Denzel Washington. Let's just stick with Denzel, right? He's been married. Samuel L. Jackson. These guys have been with their wives for 30 plus years. And you know what? We don't hear about any marital strife. You know why? Because they keep that shit in-house. They keep it indoors. They realize that they're not going to do anything to embarrass one another because they are, even though Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson are their brands, their wives are connected and attached to those brands. So they benefit from those brands. So they, whatever issues or disagreements they have, you don't ever hear about them. Why? Because they understand how the media works. They understand how optics work. They understand that whatever, when Denzel Washington says that the sky is blue, there are going to be swaths of people that's going to believe that the sky is blue. He holds a lot of influence. He holds a lot of charisma, and he can't have his brand tarnished by being with the wrong type of woman that's not going to add to what he brings to the table already. That's what Steve Harvey doesn't get. That's what a lot of these simps never get. Worshiping the ground that a woman walks on is only going to get your ass walked on. She's going to walk all over you. That's what's
not going to have no respect for you. She's not going to have any respect for you. She's going to look at you like a joke. Again, women see a man as a reflection of them, and nobody wants to reflect on a simp because a simp radiates weakness. He doesn't radiate the strength of a man who can cover a woman and provide protection. And that's why women don't respect simps like Steve Harvey. Now, Computer Robots has a question. Do you think Steve Harvey should have stayed with his first wife? Well, he wasn't going to stay with his first wife because, again, when you're dealing with simps, they are not male, they're hypergamous males, and they look to monkey branch to higher status women. So he wasn't going to stay with that wife at all because she wasn't going to get him the clout and status that he wanted. Because he couldn't be the big man with her, because that's the whole thing with simps. They look for women that they think are going to get them points with men, because their relationships really are not about having a relationship with that woman and her being a part of him. His relationships are all about trying to impress other men. That's all a simp's relationships are all about. It's all about him getting clout with other men, him getting relationships with other men. And that's what Steve Harvey was all about. So he was never going to stay with that wife at all.
Exactly. And here's the foolishness. Steve Harvey had the nerve to go on Shannon Sharp's, another simp, of another kind, though, a bootleg simp. He goes on to his show and says that men need to start catering to women and all of this crackhead BS. And then as soon as he said that, this whole scandal comes out. You can't make this stuff up. Right. Egg in his face. And remember what I said earlier? I was going to get into the whole Marjorie thing.
Yeah.
Let's say, right, you said that, you used the word allegedly in this whole situation, right?
Yeah.
Let's say all of this was innuendo. All of this was false. That Marjorie kept her legs closed from the bodyguard and didn't do anything. Let's say nothing happened. The damage is already done. Because once again, Steve Harvey's past and Marjorie's past, they're both tainted.
Yep.
They're both tainted. So neither one of them have a good past. And yet people will still listen to Steve Harvey, ask him for relationship advice. And why? Because of the mayonnaise maggot mainstream mafia media. Just because he has a show. But remember what I've always told you. You have a lot of people who've been on mainstream media, and once they come over here to digital media, they got to start all over again.
It's a whole different marketplace.
It's a whole different market. And guys like Steve Harvey needs credibility so bad to keep himself relevant. Because, put it this way, now Marjorie's not a bad looking woman, but would have Marjorie really given him the time of day if he was just some ordinary guy? If he wasn't in TV?
I doubt it.
Right.
She's out here with dope boys and dealing with dope boys. She's a ratchet. And the whole thing is Marjorie's character is ratchet. That's the whole thing that Steve don't understand. I mean, I dealt with these kind of girls in high school, and these are not girls who are honest or of good character. These are girls who just will do you dirty because they're out to get the cash, and they will trade that skid mark jockey thong and the atomic waist in it just to get the Gucci bags and the high life. And he's sitting up there thinking that this is a good woman. No, this is not a good woman at all. And if she see a dude making $5 more, she's going to go out here and step to that dude and step over him to get to that dude. That's what he don't understand about things.
No. It's worse than that. Oh, no, Sean. Skid mark thongs, atomic waste. No. Between her legs is something nuclear. It's not even of Earth. Let me tell you why. The two, she's been with cousins. Oh, you didn't know?
No.
Oh, yes. So Lori Harvey, okay? Lori Harvey's father and the guy that Marjorie dated before Lori Harvey's biological father, they're both cousins, Sean.
That's creepy.
They're both cousins. Anytime a female wants to have sex with a man and then date another man inside that man's family, oh, she is a Jezebel's Jezebel.
Yeah, that is a major violation of the rules, man. You do not date your a family member as related to another in the same family. I mean, that is
she is a super prostitute, public toilet in every way.
And he thought this was wife material.
No. You dated one guy and then you decide to have a baby by his cousin?
That's gross.
And then here comes Steve Simp Harvey. And then there is a reason why she had those kids take Steve Harvey's last name. Because if he leaves her, she's about to take him to the cleaners.
Yep. She's going to wash him like a pair.
She's going to wash him like she tries to wash that skid mark thong between that vagina. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't know that she was that nasty. I mean, I knew she had more miles on her than an 89 Yugo, but this is just that's off code. I mean,
listen, you took my line one time. Remember we was talking about someone else talking about that their vagina was like a hot dog in a hallway. Let me tell you something. Her thing, if that's the case, it's like trying to stick something in the planet Jupiter. Like that's how big her thing. Dude, she's a muskrat of the worst kind. This is even if now do you understand? Even if all of this is a lie, between Steve Harvey and Marjorie, the damage is already done because they have their stories are not believable.
No, I mean he got with a super bust down in the 90% off pile.
Yes.
I mean that's the bust downs that I talk about at Bust Downtown, where you get not even 80% off, you get 95% off because this woman has more, again, has at least 100,000, not even 100,000, 1 million miles on that space. I mean that thing has been ran through.
Yes,
and again,
she's a public toilet. She's a porta potty. That's not a vagina. That is a porta potty. In every sense of the word. And do you want to listen to this guy for relationship advice? This guy?
Like you need to read my books.
In fact, you know what? You should give him one. You should give him the man crisis on the house.
Yeah, because he's a man.
I tell you what, you find Steve Harvey's address. If you go give him a book, I'll buy the book. I buy the book and you just ship it to Steve. Because this is going to ruin his reputation. You think what happened to Wendy Williams is bad? This is going to be a snowball of of shit rolling downhill, Sean.
Yep, it's embarrassing. I mean, he's already embarrassed because again, you going with a woman who's already been with like two men in the same family. Again, that's off code behavior. I mean, there are certain rules as related to relationships. You're not supposed to go out here and get with members of the same family, which is one. And two, you're not supposed to go out here and get with people who are part of your friends and your crew. I mean, that's off code behavior. And if the rumors were true about her getting with the bodyguard and the chef, again, this is off code behavior because these are supposed to be his boys and his crew, and these are guys who's supposed to be off limits. You're not supposed to be stepping to dudes in that group. I mean, you don't step with the guy's boys because again, that's just disrespectful to him, and it shows no respect again whatsoever for him at all as a man.
See, let me tell you how I deal with people like Marjorie, okay? So when back in Cleveland, I was on voiceatradio.com, all right? I did a radio show called The Experience. And there were some women that were smitten by me up there. So I had a brief little fling with one less than she's not much of a lady, but anyway, we had a little quick tiff, but her attitude was unbecoming, of course, right? So when I told her, this is not going to work because your attitude is tacky and trifling, I'm not going to put up with it. There's a reason why people call me Mr. Chris. There's a legitimate reason for that. And I was like, I'm not going to put up with your bullshit. I'm not going to you ain't going to talk to me crazy and sideways. All right. Well, guess what she tried to do, Sean? She literally tried to talk to my older brother. So she went on Facebook into my brother's messenger and wanted to hook up with my brother and thought she could do that by talking smack to me. Now, my brother didn't hook up with her. He had a few choice words. He copied and pasted the whole conversation, sent it to me, right? So now she had a radio show. So you know what your guy, Mr. Chris, did? I had my sister call into her show and tell out all her business. It's like, how you gonna holler? How you gonna be involved with my baby brother, but then you're gonna try to sleep with my older brother? Try to get back at my. Oh yeah, she didn't like that at all.
That's nasty.
But of course, of course. See, here's the thing about me, right? It's stuff like this why I don't respect women. Now, I will respect a woman individually, but collectively, absolutely not. Because there's too many of these modern women out here in society. And unfortunately, modern, tacky, trifling women in the United States, they run the yard. It's more of them than decent women out here.
And they run the yard because of the help of simps like Steve Harvey.
Yes, simps like Steve Harvey, but also good, decent women who sit back and don't say nothing.
Yeah, I talk about that too. How their silence keeps these women keeps the whole thing going.
Right.
If they would
modern
speak out.
women, right? Modern women are no different than white supremacists.
Yeah.
Neither groups hold themselves accountable. Both groups love to deflect and deny and delay and distract. And when they're called out on their bullshit to the point where there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide, they pound the table and they claim that they're the victim.
Yep.
White supremacists do that and modern women do that. Flat out. Don't believe me? Brittany Renner. Let's talk. Can we juxtapose her?
Yeah, we can talk about her.
All right. So let's talk about Brittany Renner, right? Now, she got mad because one of the guys on that simp show, and that show is a simp show too, because they enabled her behavior.
Yep.
And I'm gonna get to that because I'm gonna talk about that particular show from a black content producer's perspective, like mine, okay, and yours. All right. Yep. So she gets on there, she acts a fool, she pours water on that Charles White guy. She throws water at his security guard, and she's acting like this psychotic fool because one of the guys asked her how did she felt about PJ Washington's raise, basically, right?
Yep.
That who she has a baby by, the basketball player, and I think he plays for Charlotte.
He plays, I think, for Washington. I don't know. I don't care.
Right. I thought it was Charlotte, but okay. But anyway, so then she just started going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and because I saw your video yesterday, I saw your video yesterday, and fair use, by the way. So just to put that out there, she's acting like a retarded. She's acting like a retarded asshole. Yeah. From top to bottom. Brittany Renner.
She was doing that to deflect from the fact that she basically was upset that she dropped the bag on PJ Washington, and she thought, oh, I'll act a fool to get this attention off of the fact that I dropped the bag and I'm a baby mom. I wanted to take her to the barbecue again.
You know what? Hey, listen, we can do that. Get back when I get back from vacation.
I'm gonna do it in a private. I'm gonna do it in a video on YouTube next week. I got to go after her, and I have to go to those simps, because those weren't men we saw on screen. Because again, men would have checked her right then and there as related to her behavior and let her know.
Sean, that shit would have never happened on the Chris and Company radio show. Not even close.
Nope.
In fact, however, we're talking about me, and yes. Yeah, am I being egotistical right now? Absolutely. Because I wouldn't have trash like that on my broadcast. Garbage like that brings down your show. As a content producer, the content and the show production, all the things that people don't see behind the scenes, that takes time.
Yep.
All right. And so you're putting the show together, and then you get your content, and then you go on and you're live. And then here's this raccoon troglodyte super hoe you bring onto your show, and then it brings down the credibility of your show. What was the name of that show again that she was on?
I think it was I don't know what the name of that show
go ahead.
was,
You can. I'll keep talking while you look that up real quick.
Right.
So anyway, what you do not, if you are trying to start your own podcast, start your own broadcast, trying to start your own YouTube, what you don't do is that you don't bring no pissant scallywag garbage like Brittany Renner on your show.
It's a dancer project.
Yeah. Those guys aren't, don't, I have no respect for those guys no more. Not that I never even really listened to those guys anyway. They seem like they're like the fresh and fit type, right? But anyway, these guys, they're so thirsty to try to get clickbait. They're so thirsty to be recognized that, oh, let's bring Brittany on because, man, she brings ratings. No, she brings down your show. She brings down your show. She brings down your credibility. No one takes you seriously. You're a joke.
Yep. Because she puts on a clown show, and then you're trying to get a serious audience, and the audience is going to take you seriously if you're putting jokers and clowns on your show and they're acting out. I mean, that's not really what good content is. I mean, that'll get you some clicks and some views in the short term. What you're going to do is lose the respect of your audience long term.
Absolutely. And then what? Those people aren't going to watch you. They're not going to take you seriously. And for what? Because your show is garbage. And that Dancer Project or Prancer Project or whatever, Vixen and Blitzen and all whatever project that it is, it's a joke. You allowed this woman to disrespect your show, your brand, your content. You're not to be taken seriously. You might as well call your show the Simp Project.
Yep. Because the way you got handled on that show, I mean, nobody took the lead in checking her and letting her know this is our show. I mean, you're supposed to be running your show. I mean, it's supposed to be your show. It's supposed to be you're in charge. everything is supposed to be flowing as related to how you want it to go. And if you let somebody come on your show and just completely take it over like she did, you're basically going to lose all your credibility because nobody's going to respect you. It's just like when I was talking about Tony Khan with AEW and how he lost respect because CM Punk just came in and he's basically going into business for himself. And it's supposed to be Tony Khan, supposed to be the one saying, look, this is how it's supposed to run. This is my show. And if you come in on here, you're going to do it my way or you're just going to be out the door.
Right, exactly. And so when you do this, when you do stuff like this, then you lose credibility when you don't when you don't put your foot down, when you don't exercise authority. And that's the thing. Like, I have a thing, Sean. There was a person that was supposed to come be a guest on Chris and Company. All right. I promoted the guy and everything. At 0 hour, and you know what I mean by 0 hour, right? Means that
just before you're getting ready to come on.
Right. At 0 hour, he just decided he wanted to come on because he had yet to check out my content. Well, that puts me in a bind. Now you're making me look bad. So another person that we mutually know said, well, hey, Chris, hey, hey, man, are you going to bring him back? You're going to, bring him, schedule him to be back on the show? And I said, no, I'm not doing that. Because what I do, I take very seriously. Very seriously. And I'm not going to tell people that listen to Chris and Company, hey, this person is going to come on, this person is going to come on, and then they don't do it. Shit happens. I get that. But at 0 hour?
No, that's disrespectful.
Dude. Right. Exactly.
You could have called him a couple of days later so you could schedule somebody else or get another topic together. You don't do that to somebody at the last minute. I mean, that's just disrespectful.
Exactly. No, I'm not asking him to be on the show again. No, I'm not. No, dude. And you know what? It's not even so much personal. It's business.
Yeah.
I promoted you that you were going to be on. You didn't come on. All right, bet. And my friend was like, but yeah, he got $1 million business. I don't give a good goddamn now that he has $1 million business. What I have here is $1 million business.
He didn't treat your business like $1 million.
He sure didn't. And because he didn't, I don't listen. Good luck in your endeavors, but I don't give a good goddamn. You're not going to be on Chris and Company.
Yep.
That's just it. I'm not going to ask you. Don't ask me. I'm not going to call you. So it is what it is. Well, why you got to be that way and this and that? And I had to tell my friend that, listen here, man, I respect what I do. And anybody who's going to be on my broadcast, they will respect what I do. They're going to respect the show, and they're going to respect the content and the format of and the content and the platform of this broadcast. Period. It's not to be questioned.
Yep.
And
coming in at 0 hours like blowing somebody off. You just don't do stuff like that.
Exactly, Sean. Exactly. So you've got to step your ground. You got to stand your ground, man. And guys like Steve Harvey, he's such a simp that he's so spellbound on how nice she looks, on how good she looks, on how good she put it on him in the bedroom. What substance does she have? Does she have anything substantive?
She has no character whatsoever.
No character whatsoever. She just looks good on TV. But what else? She can screw in the bedroom and she looks good on TV. What else do you bring to the table of substance?
And that's where Steve gets it all wrong. He's sitting up there talking about she don't have to bring nothing to the table. I'm looking at that and I'm just shaking my head at that. No, a woman has to bring something to the table because that woman, again, is a reflection of you. When she's out here and she's not bringing anything to the table, what she's doing is lowering your value as a man. And she's also messing up your kids because she's the one who's teaching your kids. And if she doesn't bring anything to the table as related to values and character, then what's she going to teach your kids? That's what most guys like Steve Harvey don't understand.
Pardon the interruption, Sean. Pardon the interruption. Okay. Because you said the magic words, lower your value. Tonight's broadcast is all about people allowing other people to lower their value. Steve Harvey allowed Marjorie, a professional hoe, by the way, to lower his value, meaning lower, and which means lowering his brand. The Brittany Renner, that Pinzer project or whatever the hell it's called, right? They allowed Brittany Renner to lower their value because it was more important to have Brittany Renner on the show to act like a psychotic slut than to act like a lady with respect and carries herself with manners. And the so-called guest I was supposed to appear on, Chris and Company, we're done. I'm not asking. Good luck in his endeavors and all of that. He ain't gonna be on Chris and Company.
I can't blame you because that's going too far.
That's right. That's right. I've had to kick people off my show years ago because they did not respect the show. So goodbye. And then something happened, Sean. Guess what? Superman works alone. And last time I checked, Superman never ever really needed the Justice League. I'm just saying.
Yep. The whole thing is that these people, they show no respect for you or your time. The most important thing is your time. I mean, you put time and effort into things. And that's what Steve Harvey doesn't understand. He's supposed to be putting time into this brand and to build its value. But he's getting with these low seed people, which is a textbook thing of nice guys. They always surround themselves with predators and toxic people. And that's what it looks like Steve Harvey surrounded himself with. And then he's hoping, oh, people are supposed to see his value. But if you don't value yourself to put yourself around quality people, nobody's going to see anything of quality. And that's where Steve Harvey really got me with his whole ridiculous book, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. Just a big book that just when I read it, just complete garbage all around. Because
I'm surprised you didn't catch a stroke reading that piece of shit.
Well, I had to read it to do research for Stop Simping because everything that I was doing for Stop Simping was to be the opposite of what is in Steve Harvey's ridiculous book. I mean, that whole thing with the 90-day rule had me laughing at it because it's comical because how little he knows about women. Because he's sitting up there talking about a 90-day rule. It's like, no, nobody's waiting 90 days. I mean, as related to going out here and moving a relationship forward. Most women know what they like a guy within the first 5 seconds of looking at him. And usually they're looking to go out here and start closing the deal within a couple of weeks. And usually it's not going to take no 90 days for anybody to get to that far. Usually people who know whether they're attracted to somebody or not. So I'm listening to Steve Harvey talk about 90-day rule. And I said, this guy definitely is a simp talking about 90 days. In 90 days, she's possibly got, especially with these modern women, they've got 2 or 3 guys lined up, even 4 or 5 guys lined up for meals and drinks. And in the 90 days, she's already picked the guy she wants to get with and wants to just use you to go out here and get some free dinners and free drinks. And in the 90 days, she's just going to tell you it's not going to work out and you're just going to be a clown sitting up out here. That's what's going to happen as related to that situation. And that's what's going to happen as related to when you're dealing with these kind of women. I don't know what happened to Mr. Chris's signal.
Oh yeah, I was trying to change my avatar. I was trying to change my avatar and put up a thing, but it put up a picture, but it don't look like it'll let me do it. It's saying that I have to I would have to like sign in or something. So I was trying to just change the avatar, but I'll mess with it another time. Anyway, but you know, here's the thing. That's why Marjorie had a plan. And when she married Steve Harvey, she married him on the pretenses of all of her children change their names to Harvey so they can get the bag. What does a 20-something hold on? What does a 20-something year old girl needs to change her name to her mother's last name, mother's married last name? It's a grift.
They saw him coming.
Yeah, man.
20-something kid ain't getting my name. No, ain't getting my name because that's somebody else's kid. Let her take that dope man's name.
You mean dope men? I think both the fathers, both the first man that she was with, and then the cousin that gave her a baby. I think they were both dope guys. I think this is crazy, man.
It's insane. He's sitting up taking care of a dope man's kids, making them into celebrities. And
right.
The dope man is sitting up in jail or wherever. And if he ever gets out, he's gonna basically just make him look like a fool because she's gonna go right back to him if she's not already going to go see him on some visits.
Who knows? I mean, who knows? If what if that story came out, right? Would anybody really be surprised? Would that really be a shock? Or gasp! I can't believe that she went to go see her baby daddy in prison.
That don't surprise me because a lot of these women, again, it's like a guy whose videos I watch, Ringo. He talks about how these women have soul ties and connections with these men. These women become emotionally attached to these dudes, and the whole thing is, whenever you get with a dope boy or a thug, what happens is these women get emotionally attached to these dudes. So she basically is still have feelings for that dude. And if that guy just says the right things, those panties are going to drop. And he's going to be going out here getting with her. That's what Steve Harvey don't understand. That's something I understood back when I was in high school. I was like, I understand these women, if they involved with these guys, they're already bonded with that dude. So I'm not even going to bother dealing with her. And I don't even want to bother with her because she's involved with a criminal. And chances are this guy is going to want to start something. I mean, this guy, especially if he got kids with this woman, he's going to pop up like a character in a horror movie, like a Jason or one of these other guys. So you're basically putting yourself in a whole lot of grief. And I talked about this in my classic blog, Why Real Men Avoid Single Mothers. And in that classic video I did, that video got almost 100,000 views. I mean, this is the kind of situation smart men avoid. But Steve Harvey, he walks right into it. And he's thinking, oh, I'm going to get respect. No, you're just a placeholder for her until something better comes along.
Yeah, but she's going to get money. Yeah, she's going to get some big time money. She's going to get paid. This one is not going to escape. This one's not going to get away with not putting his hand or putting her hand in his pocket. This is going to go down really bad. She's going to go to court. She's going to.
His wallet's going to be 50 pounds lighter. I mean, she's going to clean him out like X-Lax.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. He'd wish he'd taken X-Lax before he met her when it's all or said and done. Because she's going to say, well, he adopted my children. They all took his last name. And he has an obligation to leave them money just like he'll leave his biological children money. It's a flex, it's a con, it's a grift, all rolled up in one.
I mean, he got played. I mean, he just got played like a record and barbecue glazed like donuts.
He's still even at this. So I'm 52, right? So he's got to be what, 60? I think he's like what, 65? 66. He's 66 years old and he still thinks with his penis.
Yep. He's an old simp, like I talk about.
Yeah.
Old simp.
He one of them old ends. You know, I don't like saying that word. But but he is. He's an old fool. He's an old fool. You 66 years old and you still think with your dingaling.
Yep. Still think she cared about him. She never cared about him.
by that age, you should already know how to maneuver. You should already know how to see the signs. You should already know, oh, okay, this chick trying to get over. Nah, all right, I see you when I see you, right? No, not him. Oh, you look good. You was pretty good in the bedroom. Would you marry me? I mean, he's a goof.
Yep,
He is
he
a
can't.
straight goof, and nobody should listen to him.
No, he has no male life skills. He has no male survival skills. I mean, I don't think he can read body language or facial expressions or even read the vibe. I mean, these are things that you learn way back in high school. And even when you get in your 20s, by the time you get to like 25, 26, you're supposed to be mastering reading women and reading body language and reading instinctive things about people. I mean, this guy, again, he has to be a special brand of short yellow bus type to be sitting up here getting involved with dope dealers women.
Right. Like I could see if he hooked up with someone that was already in the industry, right? Maybe a woman who's been a producer on other shows. Maybe he met a single woman at the Emmys or something like that. Somebody who understands the business, knows the business, have something in common, right?
Yeah.
But no, like even the skank at the radio station, she had her own radio show. But the thing was, you're gonna try to sleep with my brother?
That's
Like you try,
foul.
and then not only my brother laughed you off and embarrassed you, but he copied and pasted the whole conversation and sent it to me. Like, like for real. And then I turned around and had my sister call her sorry ass show. So I mean, you know, you try to make an effort, right?
Yeah.
But it should the red flags should cut on real quick. Like, she got some qualities that ain't sitting too cool with me. But not Steve Harvey. You know, the little Oscar Mayer wiener between his legs is like, go for it, marry her. Boy, she's good in the bedroom. Yeah, but what else can she do?
And
What
that's
else
what
can she do?
but that's what simps don't think about because they're so busy trying to force something to work. Because that's something I talk about in my book, Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. You get a copy on Amazon.com. I talk about how these guys try to force things to work. And what it looks like to me with Steve Harvey with this Marjorie, he was trying to force things to work to the point where he even divorced his wife, I believe, to get with her. And again, this is what simps do. They try to force things to work. And the whole thing is when you force things to work, everything is just going to break.
You know, I want to give a shout out to the Passport Bros because I'm in this Passport Bro group on Facebook, and I noticed that there's probably like, I would say about 90%, I would say between 90 to 93% of brothers like myself who hold it down, keep it real, not gonna let nobody just run roughshod over them. But I noticed that within that Passport Bro group, there's like a 5% number of simps. And so what I did was I let the guy know in the group. I said, hey, you better watch some of these Passport Bros because there's a good 5% of them that are simps. And these are the ones that try to toxify, that will try to make the Passport Bro movement toxic. And so just keep just be cognizant of that, because if Passport Bro simps does something toxic, you're gonna need to you're gonna need to ostracize yourself from those. And when I told him that, he said he agreed with me, and he said, yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. Yeah. So simping is it's worse than COVID. If you want to keep it a buck, it's that bad.
Yeah.
It's that bad.
Oh, it's horrible. These guys will stab you in the back. They'll turn on you. I mean, they are not loyal. one of the things that when you're dealing with a simp like a Steve Harvey, he's not loyal. And I think about the way he did all of the people who worked for him in Chicago. I mean, when his show went to Hollywood, he didn't think about looking out for his people like a man would. A man is always looking out for his people, making sure his people are all right, and wants to bring his people with him. But this guy, he basically threw everybody under the bus because he wanted the clout from Hollywood. And he basically laid off all those people, left them with no job. I mean, some of these people was riding with him for years. And I could never think about doing anybody who was with me like that at all. But with Steve Harvey just basically threw everybody under the bus because he thought he was going Hollywood. And it was one of the most, again, evil things I've ever seen anybody do to someone.
Because Steve Harvey, all he cares about, if I'm gonna put it in a way that Tony Montana said in Scarface, the booze and the concha tell him what to do. That's it.
Yep.
He's that guy. The
Yep.
booze and the concha tell Steve Harvey what to do. And Massa, when Massa need him to shuck and jive and put on a dance on mainstream TV, yeah, where's we going? He's even mentioned that before. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a guy who you would want to be friends with because he would sell you out.
No, not at all. Yeah, he's gonna sell you out.
Because the second another opportunity come up or an opportunity that comes up that you have, he's going to try to take it from you.
He's the crab in the barrel that pulls down other crabs.
Yep.
That's who he is.
Yep.
And I'd say this shit to his face.
Yep. He does
That's
a lot
what
of
he is.
He did a lot of people dirty. I mean, he's not the dirty Mac, he's the greasy Mac.
Oh, greasy Mac. Right. Remember the government cheese, and it was so greasy that when you try to use it as macaroni and cheese,
all oil.
Yeah, it'd be all that's Steve Harvey, bro.
I mean, he's the guy who goes after your girlfriend behind your back, putting moves on your own woman. He's the guy just doing all sorts.
All day, Sean. He's that dude. Yes. He's thirsty. Here's the thing, though. His brand is going to pay the price for it because nobody's going to listen to him. Why would you take advice from a guy talking about act like a lady, think like a man, but you going out like a bitch?
Yep.
Really?
Why would anybody listen to him when his house is in order? Again, you got to look at his results. Because if you're saying, "Oh, act like a lady, think like a man," so we're looking at all of your marriages that have failed. We're looking at how you have done people. We're looking at your results. We're looking at what you have accomplished as related to your life, and that's where people have a problem with Steve Harvey, and that's where I have a problem with him because I'm looking at his results. His results are not showing me that he's somebody that can teach anybody about anything about relationships because he wound up doing people dirty with each of them.
Right. And he's about to get done dirty. So how's that going to play? How's that going to play out? Like I said before, like I said earlier in this broadcast, even if, let's just say, even if all of this is a lie, let's say that it was just rumors and innuendo, the damage has already been done because Steve Harvey could not keep this under wraps. He couldn't keep this inside his house. Clearly, he has no control of the house. He has no control of the bodyguard. He's got people snitching, telling stories, leaking stuff out.
Yep.
It don't matter now. It don't even matter if none of it happened. The damage has already been done because clearly you can't handle your business with your own woman. And you can't handle your business with your people in your inner circle to make sure that this does not harm your brand. But your brand is damaged now.
That shows how weak he is. Because again, you're supposed to be the one running everything. Everything is supposed to be going through you. I mean, it goes back to something I learned from Gordon Ramsay when he said, either you run the kitchen or the kitchen runs you. Well, look at Steve Harvey. Everybody's running him. He's not running anything. I mean, again, like you said, his house is supposed to be in order. I mean, everything is supposed to be go through him. Everything is supposed to be getting his sign off. Nothing's supposed to be leaked out about his life. None of his business is supposed to be put out into the street unless it's through his publicist and approved by him. It's not just supposed to be him just letting people just say anything about him. Because if people are just saying anything about you, it's just disrespectful. Again, you're supposed to be the one in charge of everything, and people are supposed to be accountable to you.
Right. Even if all of this are lies, you got a clean house, dude. You got a clean house. But he ain't gonna do that. Or
He talked about how he fired a social media person, but the whole thing is it goes deeper than that for this to get out here like that.
Right. Supposedly he fired Marjorie, wanted him to fire his cook of so many years, and the cook was a woman, and I guess she had him fired or some crap. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. She don't run his household. He's supposed to be running his household.
Yeah.
He's the one that's made the millions of dollars, regardless of how shady he is as a person. You got to give him credit. He got the money. He got his bag. However, having that bag don't mean shit if you can't if you have no control of your household.
I mean, that's what we saw with Will Smith. I mean, with Will Smith, we saw the same thing.
All that money, all of the prestige, getting in front of the cameras and smiling and everybody like you, and you get treated like a punk ass bitch in your own home by a woman who not only wears a skid marked on with the atomic waist, she doesn't even bring 10 cents to the table. She doesn't even bring an EBT card to the table. Really?
And she's running
That's
your
how
house.
You gonna go out?
That's embarrassing. And I thought Will
And
Smith
all
was embarrassing.
love. And I did this because I love. Man, please, love is nothing but a 4-letter word like spit, crap, and burp. Those are the only 4-letter words that came to my mind. But that's what I'm saying. It's just a 4-letter word. Love comes with respect. Respect comes with love. You can't have love if there's no respect within the relationship.
And that's what he doesn't understand. That's what many simps don't understand.
Women, alpha men like me, we want to be respected. Women want to be loved. But they're both a yin and a yang from each other, though. Go ahead, Sean. Right.
Yeah, but the whole thing is that respect is what you're looking for. I mean, even when I was a teenager, that's what I looked for was respect. If I can't get respect, I'm not even going to try to start anything with you. And the thing is that he thinks that love is a feeling. It's nothing. But respect is something that is between you. And again, when somebody respects you, they're going to treat you different. Again, a woman who respects you is going to ask you to get your house in order and want to see you leading. She ain't going to be wanting to see you being in the background like this. Oh, I'm telling you to fire people. It's like, no, you're supposed to be the one controlling the messages. You're the one supposed to be controlling everything going in and out of here. You're the one who's supposed to be setting order. That's what a man is supposed to be doing. But this guy, he's letting the situation run him. I mean, I look at this whole situation. If your woman is out here with other dudes, you need to be on top of that and saying it's time for you to go.
Sean, there is no way some skank hoe is going that not only hooked up with a jailbird drug dealer, you hooked up with his cousin. Then she comes into your life trying to command and demand and give orders on your brand. She would have been gone when I got done pumping her. I would have treated her like the public toilet that she is. And she better not as much as even clear her throat on how I do my business.
Yeah.
You just sit back, look pretty, and when I tell you to bend over, but make sure that you've had your shots and you've taken a bath first.
Yep.
And wear protection, by the way. Oh my God, please wear protection.
I'm going to go even further, but I'm not even going to deal with you. It's like, if I can't get respect, we're done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What's going on, Gboo2786? Glad to see you here. I do a live stream with Gboo2786 every Thursday, and he asked the question, do you think Will Smith is better than Steve Harvey in the simp game? Well, they're both about the same in the simp game because both of them don't get any respect. Both of them are seen as jokes. Both of them are clowns. And again, both of them don't have any control over their house. And both of them have been embarrassed and emasculated by the women in their lives. So that's what I see with Will Smith and Steve Harvey. Again, two big league simps. I mean, Will Smith went on from being a big-time action star that was liked by everyone and had some respect. But after that whole Oscar thing, he was basically emasculated and humiliated. I mean, he lost all of his face as a man, and he showed everybody who was in charge as related to his house and his life. And that made it where people his brand was heavily damaged. I mean, if you're trying to talk about brand damage, Will Smith's brand was just destroyed by the way Jada Pinkett treated him. And after she treated him bad, now she's out here talking about she ain't got no alopecia no more. She's growing out hair. Again, this man doesn't see how he was humiliated. And he just came across as completely pathetic. And the same thing happened
Jade never
with
had
Steve Harvey.
Jade whole alopecia garbage, please. It was full of BS any damn way.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we need to use this. You know, we need to, you know what? We need to call this show the barbecue show. You know why? Because we need to be teaching the younger, we need to be teaching young black men on how to move. We can't do nothing. We can't do nothing about old heads like Steve Simps or Harvey. Those guys are long gone. Even if Steve Harvey divorced her and move on, all he's going to do is find another one.
Yeah.
He's going to find him another one. Ways. Right. And they're going to be younger anyway because he's pushing 70 years old.
Yep.
But what a young brother listening to this, they'll get some knowledge beyond college that they can take with them and then apply what we're talking about, because we're the opposite of guys like Fresh and Fit. We're the opposite of guys that show that Brittany Renner is on. Now I'm gonna get back to her shortly. And there's a reason why people call me Mr. Chris. It's because I earned that moniker, but also that I'm a respecter of people because that's how I was raised. And at the same time, I can respect you. I expect to be respected back. Yeah. And what's giving mutual respect to a total stranger? That don't hurt nothing. That don't cost nothing. But damn it, you have to draw a line in the sand.
Yep.
And here's the thing. If you want a successful relationship, I know what you don't do. What you don't do is you don't get with a woman who's trying to use your brand so that she can start one. That's number one. You don't get with a woman who's trying to use your brand to get hers, like Jada tried to use Will.
Yeah.
And also, who else? Curry. Alicia Curry she does from time to time uses Steph Curry's brand to try to forge her own. That's number one. Number two, anytime leaks come out, what's going on in your household, and you as the man, you've kept your mouth shut, you've got to start looking at your woman. And if your woman has a tendency of running her mouth, saying things to people in the media, whether it's digital media or whether it's mainstream media, and she's running her mouth, or even if she's telling her friends and something leaks, you got to get rid of her. You
Yep.
do. You got to protect your brand, and you got to make sure that the woman that you're sleeping with is not trying to manipulate your brand for her gain.
What she's doing is being competition, like I talk about that in the woman crisis. This is where the woman wants to compete with you, and that's what Aisha Curry was trying to do, and Jada Pinkett. They want to be with the guy in order to get clout from him, in order to elevate their own brand. And what they want to do is form a parasitic relationship with that dude to get themselves up at a higher status. And then once they get to the high status, that's when they want to jump off you and jump onto the next guy. So they're basically using you. And the whole thing is you can't allow that to happen, because if she's supposed to be your helpmeet, she's supposed to be helping you out, not helping herself so that she can go out here and get an opportunity at your expense. It's supposed to be building with you together.
Exactly. And here's the thing about Will Smith. It's not over for Will. If Will were to divorce Jada today, he would still have some dignity. He'd have to build himself up again. But, in a manosphere, he would get an attaboy for dumping the toxic waste. But he doesn't even try to do that.
That's what
he
makes him
would rather
pathetic.
be in a dead marriage. He'd rather be in a dead marriage than to be living alive and being single. It's crazy. It's insane. These celebrities are not role models. They're just people that are on TV. And
that's
what
what
does
I learned
that
a long
say?
time ago. It's a job. It's
right.
Just like you and I.
Right. And I mean, and simping even goes into comic books. Scott Summers of the X-Men, Cyclops, I can't stand him. I'm like, oh my God, I want to go through the comic book and punch him in his face. He's
the
a
dirtiest
simp.
Mac. He's a dirty Mac.
But yeah. He's a white superhero, Steve Harvey, Scott Summers of the X-Men. I can't stand him, man. But that's what I'm saying. There's too much simp culture in the United States, and what's happened to our culture. And when I mean culture, I'm not talking about black culture. I'm talking about American culture. There's so much simping in the United States that men are now being openly emasculated.
Yeah, they have no respect for you because you never drew a line as a man. You don't know how to draw a line as a man, and you don't know where to set the boundaries as a man. Because we've had 2 to 3 generations of these males raised with this simp culture, and as they've been raised in this simp culture, all they learn how to do is submit to women, to beg to women, to plead to women, but they never learn to stand up for themselves as men. That's the whole thing that's horrible about this simp culture, is that these guys, they think that they're kinder, gentler, softer, more sensitive males, but what they really are men in crisis who are basically being taken advantage of by female predators who just look to use them and just take advantage of them. And these guys, they're thinking they're getting ahead, but all they're doing is getting played.
Exactly. And I don't want a woman who's trying to compete with me. That's another problem that you had mentioned. There's too much competition and not enough cooperation.
Yeah.
My significant other cooperates with me, and I cooperate with her. When we go play bowling, we don't keep score and rub it in each other's face. Hey, remember that time we played bowling and I beat you, Nan? And we don't care.
No.
And that's the woman that men with a set of balls like you and I should be networking with, should look for. And someone who's trying, if anything, my significant other, she adds to the brand, right?
Yeah.
She's done a couple of voiceovers for me. She's shy as all get out. She has no problem being behind the scenes. And she said, "Wow, Chris, talking over this microphone, it's intimidating." And I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to my world, right?"
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. She understands. And you don't get that out here today.
No, not with
These
today's
women
modern
want to
women.
compete with you. They want to, well, why are you doing, how much money you making doing this broadcasting? I'm like, bitch, none of your business. I mean, just like, seriously? That's what I'm about. How much money how do I make my money? None of your business. And
That's
so
represent make a good point. A lot of these guys, again, they were duped into being in touch with their feminine side, and that's true. A lot of these guys have been duped into being emotional and feminine, but women are not attracted to that. They want to see a man being masculine and strong. They want to see a man having confidence. They want to be the soft one that gives the support to the man. They don't want you to be out here supporting them. They look at that as like, that dude is weak.
yes, but there's too many of them. We're the minority, Sean.
Yep.
We are the minority. And women like Brittany Renner, somebody should have, you know what Brittany Renner's problem is? She's never had an ass whooping.
No.
She's never, nobody's ever taken an ass whooping to her, to her disrespectful behavior.
Nobody's checked her.
Yeah.
Because with simps, they never check her. They think, oh, she's so pretty. But as a man, it's not about her looks. It's about her character. And again, if she's disrespectful, you are supposed to check her and let her know where the line is.
Listen, let me be crystal clear. Attention, all of you modern hoes out there and ladies that are not modern women. If you are a very good looking woman, T and A, you 2% body fat, you got it all in the right place, and you have an ugly attitude, you're disrespectful, and you are absolute behavior problem, I look at you as an ugly bitch. Straight up. That's how I see you. I've been in the rooms with good, beautiful looking women, but their attitudes and how their behaviors are so stank and so rotten. I don't even want you in my karmic space. And that's how I look at, huh?
That's how I feel about them. I don't want anything to do with you if you're that disrespectful.
Right. If you're that disrespectful, no matter how good you look. And see, there's too many guys that be, man, she's fine though. So I put up with her spitting in my face. I'll put it with her throwing a water bottle at me. I'll put it with her pouring water at me. Had Charles White got up and pimp slapped her after pouring that water on her, in my mind, he was justified, because pouring that water, her pouring water on him is assault. She assaulted him. And if she poured that water on him and he pimp slapped her, all right, he's justified in that. That is considered assault. But see, that's the problem. We live in a society where pretty privilege is, it's almost absolute.
That's why our gynocentric society.
Exactly. And so what Brittany Renner and hoes like her do, Suki Hana, Sexy Red, what they do, they go on platforms and they devalue them because they have very little value. And then the platform, the person who owns the platform, that runs the platform, he doesn't know, but you bringing skanks like this onto your broadcast, she's gonna bring down your brand. You're gonna be a laughing stock. You'll get the clicks. It's like smoking crack. There's that big rush, and then there's that big fall. There's that big depressing fall. In other words, oh yeah, you're gonna get some clicks, Bates. Yeah, people are gonna be talking about you because Brittany Renner was on your show. But once that 3 minutes of digital fame is over with, you're just another sucker punk show.
Yeah,
that's
you
all.
Lost all your credibility.
You lost all. So that Pinzer show or Pinzer project or whatever it is, they're a joke now. Yeah, they'll get some more clicks because of Brittany being on, but I guarantee you by Monday, nobody's going to be thinking about that whore.
No,
and nobody's going to be thinking about that show.
That show is just, they destroyed their own show. I mean, they were thinking that this would be a come up, bringing on Brittany Renner, but what they didn't understand was what I understood, that Brittany Renner is on a state of decline. I mean, when I look at Brittany Renner, she's washed up like a G-string on the spin cycle. And the reason why she's coming on these shows is because she knows that she cannot go on to mainstream media anymore now that she's a baby mama. Now that she's a baby mama and cannot go out here and play the hot chick anymore. Because guys, once a woman becomes a single mom, guys don't want nothing to do with that woman at that point. So now she's scavenging for attention. And a lot of these guys are thinking, oh, she's coming to our show. She's Brittany Renner. It's like, no, this is not the same Brittany Renner. This is a bust down at this point. And as a bust down, her social marketplace value is lower than a $5 food stamp without the book. I mean, this woman is
it's lower than that. It's lower than the EBT card.
Yeah. Well, I just use food stamp because that's what I knew back in the day.
Right.
And you couldn't spend the $5 food stamp without having a book there. So that's where I come from, because I grew up in the 80s with food stamps. So, but
we both did, Sean.
Yeah. But she's like an EBT card with no money on it. I mean, nobody's checking for her in Hollywood anymore. She's done. That's why she's got to go on the Danza Project, because none of the people in the legacy media want anything to do with her.
And who would have known? And who knows anything about the Danza Project? Really?
No, nobody.
Exactly. And they're going to go back to being nobodies when it's all said and done. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You get that little sugar rush of Miss Little Skank being on your show. Now what? Who's next? Suki Hana? You gonna let her come on and disrespect you guys? It's like they had no balls. We're family.
No.
Then that's another thing they said. We're family here. We're family.
This
no.
is business.
No, they're not. One of the guys on the show said, "No, man, calm down. We're family here." No, you're not. No, I wish a family member would come from Ohio all the way to Arizona and start tearing up my house. They gonna get a rude awakening.
Yep, because they were embarrassed by that.
Damn, some family.
This your business.
That's your business, man. She knocking over those Shure microphones. Those Shure microphones aren't cheap, bro. I got one. They are not cheap. She knocked over the microphone, pouring water on dude. Like, what is wrong? What is wrong with this psycho bitch? What is wrong with her?
There were girls in my junior high school who used to act like that in my high school, and she was just acting immature. She wasn't acting like a woman. She was acting like a child.
Brittany Renner's mother got to be around our age.
Yeah,
she's got to be around our age. And I guarantee, and back in our era, Sean, because we're close in age, there were 13, 14-year-old girls dropping babies then.
Yeah, I went to school with several of them.
Yeah. See, here's the thing about me, guys. I used to be that nerd back in the 80s. I was a video game playing. I used to have Atari 5200 and the Nintendo. I had all of that. Then I would go to the mall and play video games at the arcade. I've embraced all of that because look at where my life was now. It prepared me to be successful where I'm at now. And now those same women that are in their 50s, all right, they hit the wall. No, all the dudes that they're checking for are either married, dead, or gay. Then they circle back around. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Will you get your dirty dog ass away from me? This is a joke, right?
One full boss.
Yeah. And now 6 kids, 300 pounds later. Hi, Chris. Hey, how you doing? Oh, no. Miss me with that. Well, we are friends. No, I didn't know we were. Like,
we weren't friends then.
Man,
friends
please.
now.
Listen. For all you young brothers out there that are nerds, and the girls, they ain't paying you attention right now. Just stay on your grind.
Yep.
Stay on your grind. Keep being successful. Whether it's working a job, starting your business, whatever you're doing, keep being successful. Stay focused. They're coming. Trust me. The ones in high school that wasn't paying you no attention, they're coming. They're going to circle back around. Except they're going to be fatter. They're going to have kids all over the place. And then they're going to reminisce. And they're like, yeah, remember we're back in school? Yeah, you ain't paying me no attention. So why are you in my face now?
Nope.
And yes, and if you say that to them, you're not out of bounds. You don't have to be polite towards some female in your past that was disrespectful to you. If you are a person of respect, you don't have to give them respect. They're only with you because that they feel in their mind you're the best they can do. And with that, if you know you can do better, then you ain't gonna pay. You're not gonna pay them skanks any attention. Don't believe me? Why wasn't Marjorie Harvey, or whatever her name is, Marjorie Harvey? Why wasn't she already married before she got to Steve Harvey? I could tell you why. Because all those dudes that in her neighborhood, all those dudes that she went to school with, they weren't checking for her like that. They knew that she wasn't married material. How you gonna have a good-looking woman and she's still available? She's still on the market. It's because she got so many skeletons in her closet that she has to build another closet to hide the extra bones in. Now that's a fact.
She got graveyards.
Yes.
That's what she got. And these dudes like Steve Harvey don't understand it. It's like they don't look at the critical picture and say, okay, if this woman is so fine, then why is she still on the market? I always make that a point in many of my streams and my videos. I always ask that question because I ask it in real life. I mean, if this woman is so attractive, why is she still on the market? I mean, quality women, I've learned, always they be scouting guys when they're young. And again, quality women, they see a guy, he's going to work, they see him coming back and forth. They're going to get in that path of that guy to introduce themselves, and they're going to take that guy right off the market. That's how it happens. That's related to relationships. That's what Steve Harvey don't understand.
Right. Steve Harvey doesn't want to understand because he thinks with his little wing dingling. That's his problem. But going forward, that's why he's a space case. He's useless. There's no hope for him.
No.
But for brothers who are listening to this right now, if you in your 30s, especially in your 40s, and I'm talking to the brothers right now. If you in your 30s, especially in your 40s, and you come around a super attractive woman, and she's really I won't say really into you, but she's interested in you, and she's highly, highly attractive, and she happens to be available, that is a red flag. It's a red flag.
I would agree with that.
It's a red flag. I was with this woman back in 2015. Fine. Met her New Year's Eve. Me and my best friend, before he passed away, we had went out for New Year's, and we was at this casino in Cleveland, and fine. I'm like, okay, wow, woo. And it got to dawn on me, why is this highly attractive woman available? Why is she single? Then when we started dating, Sean,
Yep.
I got to meet her sister and brother-in-law. Guess what the brother-in-law did? Her brother-in-law rolled his eyes at her. I was like, wow.
Those are red flags right there.
Right, so I'm reading the room big time. I'm reading the room, but she's still being nice and polite and cool and kind. And then as time went by, because time always tells, right? Time always tell the story. I would notice things. So I'm behind on paying my car note. I'm behind. Now, she didn't come out and ask me for money. No. But the problem was that she was always behind. She was always financially behind. And I'm just like, well, what are you doing with your money? Like, it ain't like I'm asking for any. So what are you doing with your money? Like, what's going on? And so she's very irresponsible with money. She asked me about getting a raise at her job. I said, yeah, you should go and get a raise. You go in there, you talk to your boss. Hey, I need to have a meeting with you. I would like to have a raise because I've been here for so long. And because of my financial obligations have went up. And I need to be paid on a level that meets my financial obligations. I told her this, and she's older than me. And the mere fact that I had to sit down and tell her to say this to her boss was scary, Sean. This was some scary shit. And I wasn't retired, but I was close. I was close to my retirement. In fact, I retired 2 years later. And so she went in and yeah, okay, she got the raise, but I'm just like, you should have your shit together this this far along in your life, and the fact that you don't, that was a red flag. Now, clearly I broke up with her, but it's just the fact that there's an ongoing pattern. When there's a lot of these so-called good-looking women out here, their heads has been gassed up by simps for so long about how good they look. They don't think that character matters. They don't think that manners matter. They don't think that having substance matters. They don't think that having value, having substantive value, they don't think that matters. All they just need to bring is TNA and some skid mark thong with the atomic waste, and that's it. That's all they got to bring. And guys like Steve Harvey, guys like the Pinzer show that Brittany Skanker was on, they keep being enabled by these type of guys. Dr. Umar also enabled these skanks. He taking pictures with Suki Hana and all of that. That broad doesn't even know what 1 + 1 equals. I mean, she is pure stupid. Yep. I mean. And that's the thing, dude. We've got, if I'm going to save anybody, I'm going to save my son and I'm going to save my nephews from these hoes out here, because there's a lot of young brothers that don't know the difference between love and lust. Yeah. And they have to realize that when a woman loves and respects you, she's going to add to your life. She's going to be an asset to your life and not a liability. For those who understand accounting.
Yep. She's going to be an asset that adds to your life. She's going to look out for you. And it's like a brother who I watch on YouTube, the brother of Logic and Common Sense, used to say, she's going to go out here and try to make sure that she protects you from yourself. Because, like in the case with Will Smith at the Oscars, if Jada really cared about him, she would have pulled him to the side and said, "No, we're not going to do this here. This is your night, and you don't need to get into it with him." Again, she's going to try to protect you, keep you from getting yourself jammed up, because she doesn't want you to look bad, because that makes her look bad.
Right. That's what teamwork is about. That's what teamwork is about. Men focused on having a team. When it comes to success, men focused on being a team. Women focus on being a family. But your family can be whatever you make it, right?
Yep.
So if you've got a good woman, she's there. Okay, y'all not married just yet. However, she has your back. You have hers. Y'all complement one another. You have fun with one another. You have your individual moments with one another. And she's not trying to use your brand for her agenda. She wants to add to your agenda. Hey, Chris, I would like to do a new sound bite for the show. Oh, okay, honey. You sure you want to do this? Yeah. Okay. That's a woman that's adding to your brand, that's trying to enhance your brand, not to tear it down or take credit for it or try to take it away. And that's the thing. See, here's the thing. I'd rather be alone and still have my self-respect than to be in a dead relationship. I'm in a relationship, but I'm with someone that doesn't even like me. I don't want that. And when no woman is going to love a man that doesn't love himself.
Nope. Because if you don't love yourself, then how can you expect others to love you? And again, when you say in that dead relationship like that, you're just basically saying it's okay to disrespect me. And the whole thing was with disrespect, like Tariq Nasheed said many years ago, it escalates because there are higher levels of disrespect. I mean, the disrespect starts with the slick comments and the slick mouth, and then it eventually escalates into cheating. And eventually, she's going to go out here and plot your murder. So a lot of these guys, they're desperate. They're like, oh, I got to hold on to this woman because they're afraid. They don't see the value in themselves. And because they don't see a value in themselves, what they do is think, I got to hold on to this woman, not understanding that you are better off by yourself because at least you'll have your intangibles of manhood. And if you have your intangibles, you can go out here and find someone who will respect you, because if you respect yourself, again, you're going to start radiating positive energy. But these guys, they don't have no confidence. So they think, I got to hold on to a broken woman and try to fix her. But there's no fixing a broken woman. What you do is you let that woman go on her way. And that's the greatest thing you could do as related to love of yourself, is letting somebody go so that you can go on and heal and become a better person.
Yeah. Fixing or the main word, saving him. Stop saving these dead inside females and say it.
Yep.
Like when you go out on a date with a woman, tell that woman straight up, I'm not in the saving business. If the first time that I've got to save you or you want me to save you, we're going to break up.
Yep.
Because clearly you don't respect what we have. You got to end that crap immediately.
Yep, you got to shut it down.
I am not in the saving business.
Not in the superhero business.
No.
Like I talk about my book, Misadventures of Captain Save 'em, because all you're going to get is a piece of kryptonite doo-doo smashed in your face at the end of the day. Whenever you try to save broken modern women, all she's going to do is squat down, drop the kryptonite doo-doo out, and smash you right in the face and go on with the guy she wants.
Yeah. And so, and that's the thing. I want to read what Jawan says here. Jawan Buchanan said, there's billions of women on the planet that God created for men to select a mate with. Guys have forgotten that. Yes.
Yeah, we have forgotten it.
That's why I'm for the passport bro movement. Now, I know this is kind of like a slight disagreement with you and I, but just listen here on just hear me out on this point, right? What is a guy to do if he's surrounded by modern Western women that have no respect for a traditional relationship? What is he supposed to do when slut behavior is in the music, when slut behavior is in the movies, when slut behavior is now part of the social construct? What is that man supposed to do? You know, if he can't find what he's looking for here, he should be able to utilize his resources to look for love somewhere else, or look for a companion somewhere else. Right?
I don't know if that's what he wants.
Okay, if that's what he wants. So that's the thing. There's a lot of brothers that they're just not having it no more. They're not. They're done. They've checked out. And why? And hell, if I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of modern women troglodytes, and there's Mexico, and there's Canada, and there's Belize, and there's Brazil, there's the Dominican Republic, I'm gonna look at that, because I know my value. And me, as I don't know about if I'm a high value man. I'm going on vacation, so I guess I guess I do have value, high value. Yeah. I shouldn't have to settle for less, and I'm not going to. And I'm not going to deal with a woman with a bad attitude, because I don't have to. I don't have to deal with a woman who brings her baggage to the table and says, "Well, you got to accept me for who I am." No, I don't have to accept you. That in and of itself is part of the problem. Exactly.
If you don't meet the standard, I don't want to accept you, because again, if you're out here with Pookie, I leave you to Pookie and Ray Ray. If you're out here with the dope man, I leave you to the dope man. I had to do that when I was in high school, and I had to leave him alone, because if you're out here with this, we cannot work. Again, I was a teenager. I said that my respect was the most important thing. And when I see women who are disrespectful, and I see them starting out like this, I know that how it starts is how it's going to end. So I'm not going to move forward if I see it being disrespect from minute one.
Exactly. And so I'd rather have options than choices. And I look at flying overseas to meet another woman, if I was not available, as an option. But me staying here in the States to find a woman that's an attitude problem, that's a behavior problem, lots of baggage. She's being all nice and congenial, only to find out that one baby daddy's dead, another baby daddy in jail, another baby daddy she got to put a restraining order on, and now all of a sudden, baby, I'm yours, Mr. Chris. No.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of.
My whole core point thing as related to this is we've got to start teaching the young brothers how to operate as men, because a lot of these women, they're raggedy because a lot of these guys don't know how to lead. And that's the big problem. That's why we have this simp problem, this simp culture, because we didn't have men who taught other men how to lead and how to have standards. I mean, a lot of these guys, like I was growing up in the 80s, we had all these teen movies where they promoted simping as a culture. We had this simp music. We had these simp movies. I mean, simp TV shows. You need to be the good guy. And the whole thing is you never get taught that you are supposed to get respect. You are supposed to be treated with respect. It was all about pandering and pleasing to women. And we got to get guys with get their mind right and understand their role as a man, understand their role as a head, understand that as a head, you have to have standards. You have to establish order. You can't sit there and just allow yourself to be disrespected. Like I've seen on shows like Roseanne with the David character. I mean, this guy just, Darlene just disrespected him. And he just sat there and took it. And even on the Big Bang Theory, they were just sitting there taking disrespect. We got to start showing images of manhood and masculinity, of men standing up for themselves, men checking women, and it's not being considered abuse, because it's not abuse to check a woman. What you're doing is taking your respect and saying that if you're going to come to me, you're going to show me respect. We got to have standards. And again, a lot of these guys are not getting taught about manhood and masculinity. And it's a major problem because everybody wants to say it's toxic masculinity. But when I was growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I saw toxic masculinity when I was watching many of these TV shows. So I watch them now and it's like, these guys are all punks. And most women wouldn't want to get with them. They're just punks. And these are the guys who do the cheating, like a Steve Harvey was doing. I mean, these guys are supposed to be the nice guy and the good guy. It's like, no, these were the jerks because they basically didn't want a relationship with the woman. They wanted the idea in order to impress other men. So I think we got to start teaching these guys on how to be men because, again, women usually follow men. And the whole thing is we have males who want to follow the woman. And we got to teach guys how to be the leaders that they're supposed to be.
Exactly. And let's look at Steve R. He's firstly, he's from the baby boomer generation.
Yeah.
And we grew up, unfortunately, with all of that simpery. And then also what was going on in the 70s was the sexual revolution, where women was using sex as power.
Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, man, we grew up, we Generation Xers. I almost said Generation X men. Get it? We men of Generation X. We didn't know that we grew up with all of this simpery.
This whole culture of simping.
The whole culture.
We were
comic books, movies, books, movies, radio, broadcasts. We were inundated with it.
Yep. Because I looked back at it, and that's one of the things I did after I lost my job. I was really looking back at this culture. I was like, it's just so much simping, and these guys are just so soft. Because there was a network called Decades that came on, and they showed the difference between men from the 40s, the 50s, and started it with the 60s with the boomers. But the guys from the 40s and the 30s, they were a lot harder. They were a lot sterner. They were a lot more serious. And they had a whole different demeanor and a whole different way of carrying themselves. When I was looking at these boomer guys, they had got bombarded with feminism, and their whole way of adapting was to start simping and trying to be soft and sensitive when they should have maintained their resolve. Because had they maintained their resolve, those women would have caved, because once they saw they weren't going to get attention or access, they would have basically caved at that point. Because I saw that happen in 2019 when the men started saying, we're done with you after the Me Too movement. They started changing up until the simps came in. But if men had maintained their resolve, they could have broke that back in the 60s with the boomers, but they just didn't have the understanding about what manhood was about, because they wanted to be a new age sensitive man. But the new age sensitive man was one of the worst simps whoever created. And he created a culture of simping that created a golden age of simping in the late 80s with the crack epidemic. I mean, in the crack epidemic, that was the golden age of simping, because most of those dope boys were basically simps, thinking that they could go out here and use their money to go out here and get women. And the main reason why they were out here slinging the dope is because they wanted to get women and try to impress other men. Again, they never had their own purpose, never had no direction. And that's what these guys don't have. And again, this is the big problem with these generations. Again, we were conditioned to be simps, but we got to break out of that and start breaking that simp paradigm. That's why I write books like Stop Simping in the Workplace and Stop Simping in Cyberspace. because I want to see men break out of this pattern and go on to be men of character.
You said you want to stop. You want to stop this. I'm gonna tell you something, Sean. It's it, it's it's gonna take. I would say. Another decade to break this cycle.
It's going to take at least about 25 years, I would say. It's starting now. We're starting to see guys pushing back.
I don't think it's going. I don't think it's going to take 25 years. I think it's going to take maybe like 15. Because young men are turning the tide now.
Yeah.
They're not putting up with that. Hell, my son isn't putting up with that. He's still with his high school sweetheart. And I got to tell you, they are like peanut butter and jelly, man. And she comes from a good family. I know her family. She's a highly educated young lady. And I told my son, don't bring no Shaniqua or Shaquiqui in this house here in Arizona. Don't do it. Because I'm telling you, I don't want my son to go through any mess with modern women that I went through. I don't want him to go through that. And we've got to protect these young brothers we need to protect these young brothers by doing collaborative broadcasts like this, Sean.
Yeah.
We're making a difference.
I do shows like this to educate men so that they can understand where they have to go and again understand what happened. That's why I did the whole crack epidemic videos, because I wanted people to understand, the history that led to this and how we got here so we could break out of this paradigm. Because that whole, again, a lot of people, I love the 80s, but the 80s had a lot of simp material in it. It had a lot of simp culture. I mean, I talk about The Color Purple and how that book it demonizes men, and talk about other things like the Oprah Winfrey Show. Again, it was all about making men into this submissive, soft male. And this submissive, soft male, again, he's sitting up there wondering, why can't I get women? Well, you can't get women because you don't know how to be a man. And you don't know how to be a man because you were raised by women and taught by women about what she thinks manhood is. But manhood is, again, something defined by God. And you need to understand your role as a man in God's order. You need to understand what manhood is all about. And these guys don't know what this is. And again, they go to guys like Steve Harvey, who are males and not men, because Steve Harvey's talking about, you shouldn't ask her what she brings to the table. I was asking what she brought to the table back in 1989 when I started talking to girls. And I asked, okay, what is she bringing to the table in terms of whatever she is? Because you just being a pretty face isn't good enough for me, because yeah, you're hot and all that. But if I see that there's nothing in common, no respect, no values, I can't move forward with you. Because if you'll sit there and just treat me like you think you're better than me and start talking down to me and treating me like a child, then how can you see me as a man? And how can you see me as a man that you want to be led by?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Before I make my take on that, this guy named Storm, he said, write a book called Simp for Dummies. He already
got
has
one. It's called Stop. I got Stop Simping. I got 3 of them. I got Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. I got Stop Simping in the Workplace to Help Brothers on the Job so they don't get played by women on the job, because women will get you to do their work for them. And I got Stop Simping in Cyberspace to deal with guys on social media who are out here on this social media thinking, oh, that IG model is hot. Oh, that girl on TikTok is hot. Well, and the girl on OnlyFans. No, those are just women, again, who are desperate for attention. and they want to take advantage of you. And again, you can get all 3 of those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also get them at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And with Stop Simping in Cyberspace, you can get it for free on Smashwords. I put it up there free because I see a lot of guys out here who don't know the game about these women online. And I want guys to get that game so they don't wind up taking their money, spending it on OnlyFans, which is basically like spending money on Playboy back in the day, or
Right.
Players Magazine for the brothers out there who remember Players Magazine. You're basically taking money and giving it straight to these women. And these women are basically laughing at you as they're getting their back blown out by another man online. I mean, you're sitting up there thinking, oh, that IG model is so fine. No, she's out here running a business and getting paid at your expense. And she's out here getting her back blown out by another man. And you're sitting up there pleasuring yourself to her pictures, looking like a fool. And again, I want to get guys out of that whole paradigm because life is too short for you to settle for less. Life is too short for you to be sitting up here spending money on some woman's pictures when you can go out here, get yourself together, learn what it means to be a man, and get your own woman and have a relationship with a real woman and not some imaginary image that's been photoshopped to death.
Exactly. So Storm, there it is, buddy. Storm, yeah. He said, if I write a book called Simp for Dummies, there's the books
3 of them.
there. And you said Stop Simping in the Workplace is free?
No, Stop Simping in Cyberspace is free on Smashwords.
Oh, Stop Simping in Friday. Okay, Stop Simping in Cyberspace is free. Hey, put the link down there so Storm can go and check it out because
I'll go head over to Smashwords and let you guys get your free copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace. That's a book that I'm giving away for free right now, because I want guys to understand what's going on out here. I mean, get over to this.
While you do that, while you send it, I'm just gonna say this: men, women won't respect you if you don't respect yourself. Women are not gonna respect you if you do not draw a line in the sand on what you will and will not tolerate. Women are not gonna respect you if you're just thinking with your penis and you're not thinking with your actual brain between your ears. And so you can be like Steve Harvey. You can be like those clowns on that show that Brittany Renner is on, because guess who the real losers are? It's not Brittany Renner and it's not Marjorie Harvey. It's Steve and the guys who allowed Brittany to come on to their show and embarrass them. So just keep that in mind, because I'm going to tell you this. I have no intentions of inviting Marjorie Harvey or Brittany Renner onto the Chris and Company radio show. Why? Because they are public toilets. If I want to interview a public toilet, then all I got to do is just go to the public toilet in Las Vegas where I'm going for vacation, and I can interview a public toilet there. You got to have respect for your brand, so that way other people can respect you and respect your brand. So for even those slick dudes out there, man, I can't believe this, whoever this Mr. Chris dude or this Sean dude, he said this about them or whatever. It doesn't make no difference to me, because you know what? I stand on my square and Sean stands on his. See, when you're doing things the right way, when you are a man of substance, you answer to no one.
Nope.
This is why Sean works alone when he does his YouTube broadcast, and I work alone when I do my broadcast on www.niceradionetwork.com. See, that's how men of respect get respect, by showing respect and explaining to young men and men our age how and what respect looks like. Mic drop.
Yep. And I guess with that, I'm going to wrap up tonight's show. So I'm going to thank you for coming on, Mr. Chris. But before I go, I want everybody to help me out by helping me get my first paperback and ebook sale for the month of September. This month is my birthday, which is coming up this Saturday. And I'd like to get a couple of sales on my paperbacks and ebooks, such as the 2023 books like John Haynes' Godbreaker and John Haynes' 1987, and my men's issues books like I talked out through the show, like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, which is way better than Steve Harvey's Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man, because this book is going to give you a foundation in manhood and masculinity. And my other men's issues books like Manginas and Misadventures of Captain Save-'em and Stop Simping in the Workplace and Stop Simping in Cyberspace, because of this whole simp culture, again, is something we all got to start teaching men about. And that's why I invited Mr. Chris on the show, so we could take Steve Harvey to the barbecue, because Steve Harvey is a clown, and he's a clown who goes out here looking to pander to women and teaches men a whole bunch of dysfunction. And all of that stuff keeps us from coming together as men and women. And it's something we need to go out here and stand up on. That's what we need to do as related to this whole thing, as related to relationships, and get men and women back together.
Exactly. You know, we should just when we collaborate, we should just call it the barbecue show.
Yeah.
because it's, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be done. If those people out there that have got a problem with me and Sean talking the way that we're talking, think about this. Think about this before you guys leave this YouTube channel. Guys like Steve Harvey and those clowns over at the Pinzer Project that Brittany Renner was on. It's men like them that make it hard for men like me and Sean. See, me and Sean, we carry ourselves with respect. We command and demand respect. And when people see goons and clowns like Steve Harvey and Will Smith and those guys on that show where Brittany Renner was on, that has an indirect reflection on us, because we don't tolerate none of that foolishness on neither one of our shows. And so, yes, we talk about these things because we as Black men, we separate ourselves from those type of guys. If you want to listen to that fresh and fit gay garbage that they do, the Pinzer Project or whatever, they let Brittany Renner disrespect and destroy their brand. So they're not even nothing to talk about. Then you got Steve Harvey. If you want to check out those guys, go ahead. But I'm gonna tell you ain't gonna learn nothing from them. But if you really have respect for yourself, if you really want to hear the absolute truth with no filter, this is the place to come to. This is the place to be on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Hands down. The choice is yours.
Yep.
You want to be a winner in life, or do you want to be a loser? Because winning and losing does not care about how much money you got in your bank account. Steve Harvey may got a lot of money, but he ain't winning shit right now.
He has no dignity. He has no respect. He's a joke. Because there's a lot of $1 million simps out there. And the $1 million simp usually is a simp who winds up with no money later on in his life.
Exactly. Sean, it was a pleasure. I'm going to be gone for a week, but I'll still be checking you out on YouTube and everything. And let's do this again in a few weeks. About
definitely.
3 or 4 weeks.
Let's do it again. Had a really good show. Really want to thank you for coming on to tonight's show. Want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's show. Again, I'm asking everybody to pick up the books on the SJS Direct Imprint. Before you go, head over to Amazon, pick them up. And again, I'm glad everybody came out to tonight's stream. Everybody had a great time. And I hope you'll be there for next week's stream. Everybody have a good evening, and everybody have a good night.